Welcome to Marketing Mistakes and How to Avoid Them. Join Stacy and learn from her 20 years of experience as she shares top-notch advice on marketing best practices for brands and walks you through how to leverage entertainment content and influencer partnerships to increase your brand's overall consumer engagement and, most importantly, your sales.
Welcome to another episode of Marketing Mistakes and How to Avoid Them. I'm Stacy Jones, and today I'm going to talk to you about the importance of organic product placement and provide detail to the types of product placement available for brand partnerships, as well as share some product placement success stories from over the years. And I have a lot. Our team loves data, research, and stats. And when we can't find answers to questions our clients and potential clients ask, we'll take it to the next level and run a survey ourselves. And one of the questions we are asked the most about is what case studies we have. Literal proof is in the pudding that product placement works. And one of those survey factoids that has continuously been brought to light is that the majority of consumers far prefer branded content to more traditional forms of advertising. And that's not to say that all ads are not good advertising tools, but ads that haven't been crafted to be stories to themselves aren't typically as well received as product placement organically embedded into the content that viewers enjoy. Basically, people aren't all that interested in being clunked over the head by brands trying to shout their messaging from the rooftops. Imagine that. Who would have thunk it? So, that survey I was telling you about, we wanted to find out what the best entertainment marketing strategies are that are used by brands and agencies, and how receptive consumers are to these strategies. And with no surprise, the survey yielded the results that consumers find high importance in keeping product placement and brand integration exposure as organic and natural as possible. And when I say organic, that does not mean that the brand doesn't stand out within the content it's embedded in. Nor does it mean that the brand has to stoically sit there with no messaging surrounding it. What it means is that the brand needs to be an authentic fit to the content that it becomes a part of. It needs to be realistic and not jarring. It needs to have a purpose or even solve a problem that the characters are faced with. In fact, the brands that do the best with product placement are those very same brand categories that we all use in our everyday lives. The beverages we drink, the cars we drive, the clothes we wear, the electronics we use. If they are realistically used in real life, then it is all the easier to replicate those brands on screen to live as real-life brands and those fake character stories. But that's not to say that other types of brands that can't be held in a hand or worn on screen don't have a chance. In fact, companies that are services have tremendous branding opportunities through signage or heightened storyline placement, as do apps, which require a lot more massaging of a script. But as long as the solution they solve is used in real life, they can have tremendous on-screen presence, like the partnership with the dating and relationship app Bumble we built with Candice Bergen's single and no longer loving it character in the movie Book Club. Bumble worked because it provided a realistic solution to a storyline problem the screenwriters needed to solve, which was how to tell the back-to-dating story of a woman in her 70s in today's world of online love. And if you want to see what I'm talking about, literally see it in action, then go and check out our case study that is on our website, hollywoodbranded.com, and you'll be able to watch it. It's listed under case studies. And by the way, the one that we share there is the short version. There is even more content for Bumble shown on screen in the actual film. So, what brands do work for product placement? We've done partnerships for a roofing company, GAF, where we built a roof for two of the lead reality stars of Duck Dynasty. And the scene worked, because after all, they realistically needed a new roof, and the storyline fit. We just did a partnership with Dwayne Johnson's Rampage, where our client Fleer had their thermal imaging camera and branding interwoven into the script, as the technology provided the filmmakers a really cool way to show a dinosaur-sized marauding alligator taking on the military. Real life, right? Fleer also was interwoven into the films Sicario and Sicario 2: Day of Soldado, where the technology was used in the first film as the director wanted cameras that could film an entire scene in a dark tunnel in thermal imaging from the DEA agent's point of view. And Fleer had the perfect camera to provide that solution. The camera needed to film the scene not only had a high cost associated with it, but it also needed a Fleer camera operator on hand for training. We were able to provide both. The scene was brilliant and solved a major production issue: how to film in the dark and bring the audiences into truly experiencing a fictitious world that is very real to true border agents every day. And when Day of Soldado filmed, we were back with Fleer again, even though it was a new director, as the thermal camera technology was now used in the scene where it hung from the underbelly of a helicopter, showing a rush of people crossing the border in the dead of night. If you have interest, you can find out more about this behind-the-scenes dirt on our blog, again at blog.hollywoodbranded.com, and how we got the Soldado partnership to be built in the first place. Over the years, I've done product placement with Ben & Jerry's being eaten by Helen Hunt and Paul Reiser on Mad About You, with Ira storming up the stairs from the street and asking why someone would have been so stupid and insane to have tossed out Chunky Monkey to the street below, as he ate from the container. Meanwhile, moments before, Helen Hunt and Paul Reiser were those insane people eating from the container. With AM General Hummers driven by John Travolta and Nicolas Cage racing down runways in Face Off. The massive freeway scene in Matrix 3, where one of the major climaxes of the movie happened while having 13 different Freightliner tractors being driven with stunts taking place on top of them. I was there. It really was fantastic filmmaking. To George Clooney's favorite mobile phone being BlackBerry in almost every film he shot for almost a decade thanks to our agency. Luxury brand Montblanc sold out their newly released Bohème pen after I placed it in Sweet Home, Alabama. And Capital One played a role as the grantor of a giant check branded and held in the hands of Patrick Dempsey in the same movie. Cars, supplements, TVs, purses, medical equipment, slippers, speakers, headphones, so much more. All of these have played some role on a TV or a film screen, whether as a prop or as a major part of the storyline, thanks to my agency. We made Coffee Beanery's retail franchise become the first real job where Jimmy worked at on Shameless. And we made Canadian Club Don Draper's drink of choice in Mad Men. And back in the day of ER, I oversaw the entire set being hardwired to make Nortel Networks phones ring from one set to another. The list of brand potentials goes on and on to pretty much cover most brand categories. And the reason why all of these brands work is that real-life brands lend themselves to real-life scenarios on screen. So, what are the types of product placement available? It's pretty simple, really. There are three main types of placements, and those are visual, verbal, and signage. Visual placement is really someone recognizing the product and the brand's logo clearly while it's on screen. Verbal placement is when a character mentions the brand by name or discusses the product's characteristics. Signage placement is when the actual product is not on screen, but an ad or a branded item is clearly visible. And really, that's it. Super simple, right? Some verbal placement is much more detailed, bringing in marketing points about the brand, or actually crafting an entire storyline around the product placement exposure. Or an official partnership, like the one we built for Pilot Pen and Project Runway, where the brand's erasable friction pen became the official pen of the series. A partnership that was absolutely organic and realistic, as the designers benefited greatly from being able to draw their designs and actually erase their mistakes. We just had a great partnership in the TV show Ozark, where what started as a simple product placement with our client's FLIR thermal camera having an opportunity to be a set piece on a boat, to having the entire storyline evolve into making the brand an actual secondary storyline, as two of the main characters set off across the lake to steal the camera, only to run into some hurdles along the way. As an agency, we follow our own advice when working on client campaigns, and there's 6 key things to keep in mind when you're building a brand partnership into content. So let's discuss them. First, brands need to be mindful of how and where they will most naturally be on a set in a scene, and it really should mirror real-world usage. Secondly, you want to keep the placement natural and work with the writers or directors to make the exposure appear as seamless as possible. Third, you want to create a presence in Hollywood and help consumers keep you top of mind by participating in dozens of appropriate placement opportunities across numerous productions, versus just going and doing a single dip of your toe in Hollywood. One and done is not the answer to product placement. Repetition, just as with any other advertising medium, is the key. Fourth, think about how your product will be used to achieve organic placement. It really does need to appear real, even how it's spoken about. Fifth, always remember to utilize social media to capitalize on the exposure. Bring the placement to life on a third screen and start an engaged consumer conversation. Look for ways that you can extend your placement across your social platforms. And 6, if you can find a way to bring that partnership to life off-screen, into your brand's advertising or at retail, do it. You've just built a powerhouse of a marketing tool if you do this. Utilizing these tactics are going to help you better boost brand recognition and increase sales of your product. When you create a product placement strategy, think about how the product can be used to create a natural integration within the storyline. The more organic, the better. Our survey showcases that the majority of consumers feel positively towards product placement, calling it beneficial, organic, or informative. And of the 49% who didn't overtly say, oh, they have a positive association leading them to go purchase, only 6.5% found it to be annoying or disruptive. So of all the people that we surveyed, less than 7% didn't like it. From this, realize that as a brand, you're not going to offend the majority of your consumer base, and in fact are more likely to engage consumers. If you are interested in seeing the results of our survey, you can find a download over in our library at hollywoodbranded.com. You can also visit our influencer marketing school at learn.hollywoodbranded.com, where our classes provide you and your team actionable insight to help you create the best marketing partnerships for your brand. And stop by hollywoodbranded.com for more tips, and check out the library, which has infographics, white papers, ebooks, and videos, or our blog, mentioned it before, blog.hollywoodbranded.com, which has hundreds of helpful hints on how to make brands' influencer and entertainment content partnerships a success from the get-go. That's it for this episode. I hope it was helpful, and please let me know if you have any feedback. I'll see you next week. And as always, if you need a little or a lot of help, my agency, Hollywood Branded, is here to lend a hand. If you would leave a review or any questions I can address in the future, I'd really appreciate it, as your feedback helps me know my advice is valuable and interesting to you.
Are you ready to make the magic of product placement, celebrity event activations, or influencer partnerships help your sales? Visit hollywoodbranded.com to gain access to free content to learn which key tactics best fit your brand. You'll find surveys, webinars, daily blogs, ebooks, and guides, all created to make sure you have access to the best possible marketing practices. Let's make that entertainment marketing magic happen for you.